Hey, what's up, guys? Tukey here, back again with another episode of my Hartford Whalers franchise mode series here on NHL 18. And I will say this right off the top, I mentioned it too in today's Montreal episode as well. I am not feeling the greatest today, so if there's a lot of rambling, if there's a lot of nonsensical sentences, I'm sorry. But hey, at least I'm committed, and I still wanted to bring the next episode of this series to you guys, and what an episode it could potentially be, as we are going to more than likely finish up the regular season. But of course the big moment will be the trade deadline, where we are absolutely going to sell. To be honest, I mean, it might be worth looking a little bit before then, but we do need to sell a few days before that date so that I can sign veteran free agents to replace whoever we're getting rid of, which, you know, you're talking guys like Schultz and Shattenkirk as probably the two main bartering pieces that we have, Thomas Tatar as well. So for the most part, and actually I remember taking a look at the list, for the most part I think we're good to go in terms of, the plan in this episode. I think we have it all figured out. We'll sim a little bit unless we get offers. Two second-round picks from New Jersey, one this year and one next year, for Justin Schultz. Now, the Devils are a good team, and for that reason, I am going to decline. I don't know how the Devils are a good team, but apparently they are. We actually get the same offer for Shattenkirk. Yeah, New Jersey, you're going to have to be a little bit more creative than that. But the plan here is to get to about the middle of February. Then we'll take a look at the trading block, and hopefully, unlike with, say, you know how the Montreal series went, don't you? And if you don't, what's the matter with you? Go catch up on that series, man. But anyway, one of the episodes really showcased just how difficult, as I'm not going to trade Connor Brown, just how difficult it can be to work out trades in NHL 18 when you're trying to, work with assets and pieces that the other team doesn't exactly want to move. It can cause issues. Now, for a team like the Habs, where, we're kind of cup contenders, trying to find that perfect piece is a little bit more difficult than, say, with this series using Hartford, where we are going to try and tank. It's a little bit easier to just move Schultz and whoever else, maybe Roussel, Letestu, Tatar. It's a bit easier to move those guys away for prospects and picks as opposed to having to get a rental. So I think you guys know, you're smart people, right? You get it. You understand. By the way, somebody mentioned potentially putting Dadonov on the top line. I mean, here's the thing, right? He can't be traded. We gave him $11 million. He's having a really good season. I'll bump him up to the top line once we trade Tatar, because again, with Nolan Patrick, unfortunately, his face-off category is an absolute disaster. So he might have to be a right wing in this series, which really sucks. I don't know if, maybe it's something as weird as his face-offs won't improve unless he plays center. I don't know. But, yeah, either way, it is an unfortunate situation with Nolan Patrick. And I have noticed that, too, with just a lot of players in general, as we get offered Jaromir Jagr. That's hilarious. I'm going to have to decline, obviously. I want Jagr to actually have a chance to win. Tommy Wingels for 2 fourth-round picks and Enroth. I think we might still trade Tommy Wingels, but I don't want Enroth. But I could go and get some better picks. You know what? We might have to take a look at this. Now, do I have to pick up Enroth here? What other goalies do I have right now? We have Vevalainen, Marmanland. I think we're good as far as goaltending goes. Yeah, we're not going to trade Subban. He's backup anyway. I mean, you could say it's worth trying to get rid of Malcolm Subban right now, but maybe he'll turn into that better backup. So we won't take Enroth in this deal. But if I could get Wingels for like 2 fourths and a sixth, that's a bit of a steal. So let's see if that will happen. And indeed, it does. All right, so we pick up a couple of depth picks in exchange for Tommy Wingels. Not the biggest move in the world, obviously, but that will make room for Antoine Roussel to get back in the lineup. I don't know if we're going to trade him. We do keep getting offers for him, of course, so he has some value at least. We'll see, though, if we're able to make that work. We'll just keep him in on the 4th line for the moment, as we have hit the 14s. I'm going to send to the 21st. Let's send to the 21st. That will be the day that we start to make those decisions. Florida, I appreciate it, but no, I refuse to bring in Jaromir Jagr to this team. He deserves an opportunity at winning one more cup. Brandon Davidson's on waivers, and obviously we are going to claim him. Why would we not? Connor Brown for a 3rd-round pick. No, thank you. I'd like to keep Connor Brown on this team. Again, he could be an effective 3rd liner for us for the first couple of seasons at least. That's at least the plan in my head, is to keep Connor Brown around for a couple of seasons. But the trade offers keep rolling in. No. Really? You think I'm going to accept a deal for Antti Niemi? I know I have goaltenders on the trade block, but come on now. You really couldn't expect me to actually accept that. LA's 1st and Gleason for a 2nd, 3rd, and Joe Colborne. No, thank you. That's not the first time that they've offered us Joe Colborne either. The former Bruin, Leaf, Flame. Poor guy. Poor guy. Well, let's see here. Have there been any other trades before we start to do a bit of business ourselves? Indeed, there has been. Jonathan Marchessault and Chris Thorburn off to Minnesota for a 2nd and a 3rd. Mike Green and a 4th-round pick off to Nashville for a 2nd and a 7th. Anaheim's acquired Patrick Sharp, a 5th and a 7th, for a 3rd-round pick from Dallas. Mikael Backlund is a HAB, traded for a 1st, 2nd, and defenseman Victor, is it Mete? Mete? It might be Meaty. I'm going to call him Victor Meaty because it's funny. Anyway, there's the Wingles deal. Dan Hamhuis to Nashville, along with Adam Cracknell and a 4th for a 3rd and 5th. Thomas Hickey, a 4th-round pick, and Kyle Brodziak to Montreal for a 2nd. Jeremy Gregor and Brett Lernout. Then you have our deal with Zach Bogosian going to Vancouver. So there have been some moves made, but not a crazy amount that leads me to believe that we'll struggle to find deals. So let's do this, shall we? Let's take a look around the block, and the first name that comes to mind, and here, you know what, this is going to be terrible for the audio quality, but that's okay. Water bottle and notepad. There we go. There we go. Get the old pen and paper out there and keep track of those that you could actually go for. So Max Jones is definitely somebody that we're looking at. I am going to focus on the trading block and players that they actually want to move, because, again, that can make it that much easier for us to acquire these players, and we can get more back in these trades. Yes, there are better players we could go after, but I'm not all that concerned. It might be worth trying to pick up Ryan Spooner as an RFA. He's apparently a second-line guy. He's been an RFA all year. We'll come back to Boston more than likely. Buffalo getting rid of Ratcliffe, low top 6, no thank you. Carolina, nobody, at least no forwards. Carlson, Abramoff, and Milano. Carlson's an interesting one. Abramoff and Milano, low top 6, I'm going to try to avoid. But Carlson is an interesting name and could be a decent addition to our young defense core. There is nobody that we want in Calgary. Chicago, Marian Hossa, Cole Lind. Nope. Low top 6 for Cole Lind. I'm going to avoid that situation. Nobody from Colorado. We do at least have an offensive and a defensive option at the moment. Carlson and Max Jones. What do we have on Detroit? Absolutely nobody. Edmonton. Anybody? Nope. Great. All right. Well, hey, limited options then moving forward, huh? Nobody from Florida either. LA. Cale Fleury. We'll pass on him too. Minnesota. Connor Timmins. Low top 4 again. I'm going to pass on those low top 4 potentials. Shareback, though. Now, I don't know if I'll go out and get him, because he is more than likely going to be a name that we see in the Montreal series as well. But for that, and for that reason, I mean, I'd like to get him. He is a good player. But for that reason, I think we'll probably avoid him. The Islanders are getting rid of half their team. Good luck with that. The Rangers aren't getting rid of any prospects. Why? Except for a goalie. Like, you're 35, 21, and 3. You should be getting rid of some prospects to bring in some rentals to go for it. What's the matter with you? Haig, Myers, and Morin will also avoid. Nobody from Pittsburgh. Wow, we have really limited options here. Adam Ruzicka, St. Louis. Do you have anybody? Stashny, Ryan Reeves. Oh, man. Mitch Stevens. Yeah, very limited options. Wow. Kasperi Kapanen at low top 6. Juuso Valimaki, though. That is a good name. That is a good name that we could potentially pick up. Again, low top 6 guys. There are some names there. But at the moment, we're looking at Jones and DeBrusk, Carlson and Valimaki. So 2 forwards and 2 defensemen. That could be really solid additions to this team. Just Winnipeg and Washington left to check. Matthew Strome and Jack Roslovich, no thank you. And then Washington with a couple of names. There we go. Lucas Johansson and Madison Bowie. Right. Johansson would be interesting. We've used Bowie in a couple of series, so I don't know if we're going to look at him. I mean, he is a good player. He would be a good player. I don't know. Here, we'll write his name down. Like, we haven't used him too prominently recently. We acquired him in the Manhattan Project, but of course that series didn't go long enough for it to really be a thing. So Max Jones is absolutely our main forward target. 70 overall at 20 years old. Now Anaheim as well has quite a bit of cap space. That wasn't proper English. I told you I was going to mess up sentences here. I do, sentences and structure and proper pronunciation. I mess it up all the time, but it's going to be even worse. How would I like to trade Justin Schultz to Anaheim? That is the question. And I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it. Now, let's just tack on a third here. There's no way this goes through, but it's at least worth checking. Yeah, okay. How about, say, a 5th and a 7th, maybe? From Anaheim? That would go through. All right, so we'll try to get a little bit more. How about a 4th and a 6th instead? What do you think about that? I had a feeling we were close. And indeed, we were. So you know what? We're actually going to go for that 3rd rounder. And then we'll give up a couple of later picks. Again, we still have 5 first-round picks from all of the selling that we've done already. And it will be pretty beneficial here to get rid of some of these lower picks. I just want to see how little we can give up with these later round picks to make that 3rd round pick offer work. And it's going to take at least 1 6th rounder. I'm still going to give up the 7ths, though. Again, just to make sure we don't have too many picks. I don't want to crash the draft. 2 6th, 2 7th rounders. I'm all right with that. I am all right with that. Will this go through, though, is the question, and it's just a little bit low. All right, so you know what here? Let's do it this way. Let's do 1/5. We'll use Toronto's instead of ours, and we'll also give up the 7ths. So Schultz, a 5th, 2 7ths for Max Jones, and a 3rd from Anaheim. Still no. All right, we'll use one of the extra 6th round picks. I mean, obviously this is going to go through. It's just a matter of me trying to give up as little as possible, but also as much as possible as far as late round picks. That still won't go through. Wow. All right. Well, instead then, how about 2 5th rounders? 2 5ths, 2 7ths? I'm okay with that. I'm still okay with that. I mean, again, we're going to lose a risk of a steal in the draft in those later rounds, but we're still going to have a lot of top picks. So Schultz, 2 5th, 2 7th round picks for Jones and a 3rd. That should go through. You are kidding me. All right, well, let's be... I want that 3rd rounder, man. I do. So let's give up the Ottawa 4th and 2 7th rounders. That should go through. You are kidding me. All right, we'll tack on another 6th. I said I imagine that it wouldn't be too difficult here. Anaheim's being a little bit more than stingy. Holy shit. All right, we'll tack on the 7th round picks elsewhere. How about a 4th and a 6th? Both from Ottawa. What do you say? How about a 4th and 2 6th rounders? Please. That should go through. It will. And now, not that I need the extra 7th rounder, but, I'm not too happy with what they just pulled. So I want that extra 7th rounder down the road. No, all right, fuck it, whatever. Screw it. Justin Schultz is off to Anaheim. We have traded for Max Jones. Right. Not a bad little pickup there at all. In the meantime, we'll also call up Davidson, who we, of course, acquired via waiver wire. A good little pickup for us there. We'll go best lines for the moment because we are not done. Now, from the Bruins, I was looking at DeBrusk. Problem is he's 21 and only a 71, but that value is still good, and that leads me to believe that he could progress fairly quickly. We'll go after him after. We'll go after him after? Let me double check here as far as who we have. Now, for trade bait, we have Shattenkirk, Tatar, and those are really the main two at this point. Yeah, those are the main two at this point because Brodin's not going anywhere. So, I'm thinking, actually, Sorella can still be used. So, we can get DeBrusk, and then we'll probably go after Carlson from Columbus and Valimaki on Toronto, and then we're good. So, Shattenkirk, Sorella, and Tatar are going to be the three that we look to move out here. And again, Tatar, 57. Same age as DeBrusk, but a 57. Now, we're going to have to use Sorella here to get DeBrusk. I don't really want to screw over the Bruins like that by sending them a prospect who just isn't going to pan out. But they don't have the cap space. So, I will try to make the most of this here. Again, not exactly my favorite thing to do. I'm kind of screwing over the Bruins here a little bit, but we'll see what happens. DeBrusk in a third for Sorella is declined, but how close is it to going through is my question. Let's use those 2 7th-round picks this year. Yeah, it's not going to be that close. All right, so let's try, say, a 4th-rounder, and I will tack on those 2 7ths again, and we'll see what happens. Will that go through? No, it won't. Let's try, say, a 5th-rounder? Maybe? Help me out a little bit here, Boston, if you would. How about straight? It did say it was close. All right, so 6th-rounder should work. And we'll just, flip that at a different time. So Sorella and 2 7ths for DeBrusk in a 6th. There we go. We have acquired Jake DeBrusk, another young prospect, much better as far as overall goes as compared to Sorella. Let's go best lines. And now let's focus on 2 defensive upgrades as well. Draft pick-wise, we're good. So right now, we're going to use who we have to try and get some prospects. And Gabriel Carlson is absolutely the next target. What do they have cap space-wise? They have nothing. So this might be a little bit more tricky of a deal. We will give them Shattenkirk instead of Tatar. Although, here, let me check Toronto really quick, too. Toronto, okay, so regardless, we're going to have trouble with the cap situation, and we're going to have to take back a really shitty contract, but that's okay. How far over the cap were they? 1.1 million? Okay, we can make that work. We can make that work. So who is your most expensive player that's kind of garbage? Scotty Hartnell? I mean, we could take on the Hartnell deal. Again, remember, it wasn't an up-to-date roster when you do the expansion option. That's why Hartnell isn't at 1 year, 1 million. We could go for Scotty Hartnell. We could. Is there anybody else? Kyle Quincy, 3 years, though? Good Lord. Matt Calvert might be perfect. A little bit of a risky contract, but the trade value is there. It's not perfect as far as their cap situation, so we might have trouble getting this to go through, but we can check it out. Value's too far off. Let's just throw in a 6th-rounder. They don't even have a 5th. Will that go through? Still no. How about straight up? You have to sweeten the value just a touch. I mean, I'm all right with Shattenkirk for Carlson. I am. Obviously, again, because of the cap situation, we're not going to be able to get as much back as we'd like, but you got to do what you got to do. Let's use, those are 7th-rounders next year. You know what? That works for me, though. We can use those up. Let's see if all 3 7th-round picks next year is enough to push the value over the edge. Hopefully it is. It is not. Okay, so we'll still get rid of those picks next year because we don't really need them. And I'll also give up the Bruins 6th-rounder next year. Will that go through? Rejected, yeah. See, I had to put Johnson on waivers. I know the red bar was still there, but I had to hope. So Calvert isn't the right player. We're going to have to go for Scotty Hartnell, which, again, really screws up the value. He's a little bit more valuable than Calvert. But again, that means we're getting a little bit less back from the deal. But we do get Carlson in return. 6th round pick just to kind of safety net this. Nope. Straight up? Still no. Okay, so we are going to have to give up a little bit now to make this happen. Let's clear out those picks from next year. Will that go through? No, it won't. Just a bit low. Okay, so how about we use a 5th round pick this year? We only have ours and Toronto's. We'll give up Toronto's. So Shattenkirk a 5th and 3/7 next year for Gabriel Carlson and Scott Hartnell, who we can afford to just kind of take. Nope, still not good enough. All right, we'll keep our 7th rounder next year, and we'll switch that to Boston's 6th. Will that go through? Yes, it will. Kevin Shattenkirk off to Columbus. We get Carlson back in return. We have to take on the contract of Scotty Hartnell, but I'm all right with that. I am all right with that. And then, we don't have to sign another player. Bottom line is I was going to have to go to the free agent list and sign somebody anyway. So it's fine. And we have one deal left to make here, at least as far as big deals go, and that's going to be Tatar to Toronto, hopefully. Now, it does put them a little bit over the cap, but not as much as Columbus. So what do we have here contract-wise? I'm looking for 1 year with a decent bit of cap hits. Eric Fair or Colin Greening would be perfect. Fair, or Greening, I should say, wasn't enough. Is Eric Fair? Yes, he is. All right, so that's good. We can take on the Fair deal. And Juuso Valimaki. Will that go through straight up? No, it won't, but it's close, which is nice. That's not too bad for us then. Was there anybody else that I was looking to get rid of? I don't think there was at this point. I think we're good. I mean, Mark Letestu, Blake Como, Roussel, Jamie McGinn, these are players. I mean, Gauntz, he keeps getting offers. That's why I want to keep him, but his value is dirt. So I don't know. I could sit here and just trade these players and get more 4th and 5th round picks and then be a little bit cheap about it if I really wanted to and turn those 4th and 5ths into 3rds, turn the 3rds into 2nds. I don't know if that's the route that I necessarily want to go down, though. That's not the road I want to take with this series. So we might just hold on to Letestu for now. I mean, yeah, the point is to, definitely rebuild throughout this series, but I don't want to be too ridiculous about it. I'm going to look to give up, say, a 5th round pick next year instead of the one. Actually, here, I'll give up the one this year. That should hopefully be enough. Tatar and a 5th for Eric Fair and Juuso Valimaki. Hey, there we go. Quick and easy. Valimaki, welcome to the team, buddy. Let's see what we are currently dealing with now. The goaltending is good. The defense isn't ideal, but it's good. That way, too, we have players down in the AHL getting that proper ice time. I mean, you could argue even with Streit and Davidson, trying to get rid of them. But, we might as well keep them for now and just have that be our top 6. Because down in the AHL, we do still at least have, Johansson and Up playing with McIntyre and Crosby as the depth players. So we're still looking all right. And then forward-wise, I could send down Eric Fair, but we'll leave him for now. And in that way, some of the younger guys can still play in the AHL. So let's go best lines here, and let's see what we're dealing with. So again, the top line moving forward will be Dadonov, Burakovsky, and Nolan Patrick. Second line, let's go with Lawton, Tierney, and Connor Brown. Third line, who do we want to go with here? I mean, it really doesn't matter. Eric Fair can play center. So let's go with, say, this combo right here. There we go. So Hartnell, Letestu, McGinn as the third line, Roussel, Fair, and Como as the fourth line. Then the defense, we have Brodin with Streit, Davidson, Kulak, and Gabriel Carlson with Ryan Pulock. I think we're good. I think we are good. Is there anybody scratched forward-wise that we don't want to be scratched at the moment, for lack of a better way to phrase that? And it's not looking like it. We do have a bunch of those garbage players Kaigorodov is currently out of the lineup. Okay, so let's call up one other player here. Doesn't really matter who. Let's call up one other forward veteran. Ryan Jones. Why not? Let's call up Ryan Jones. We'll go best lines again. And that way we have a spot for Kaigorodov. It put in Holloway, I think. Nope, there we go. Kaigorodov is in by default. We will have to set up the lines here again, though, but that's okay. That is okay. Let's see. Ryan Precht. Alright, so here we go. Medium top 6, low top 9, low elites. What else do we have? High bottom 6 and Taylor. God, it was like what? Lear, I believe. People were saying. We also have DeBrusk and Davidson. Right, 2 low top 9 guys. We'll bump Kaigorodov down. Can DeBrusk play center? Yes, he can. So we'll go with that top line, which is promising. Second line, high bottom 6, low top 9, medium top 9. We'll go with medium bottom 6, Davidson. Who's the better center out of these two? It'd be Lear. And then the third line, Kaigorodov, Gleason, and Reinprecht. Works for me, man. Works for me. I think we're good. I think we are good to go. Again, there are other players we could trade. I'll see if anybody comes to me with an offer here over the next few days. We still have a little bit of time before we hit deadline day. And that's why I wanted to leave a little bit of time before deadline day. So let's do this. Let's move forward. Again, offers for like Roussel, Letestu, not for Brodin. But offers for some of those players who are a bit lower on the totem pole will definitely be considered. Brodin, Pulock, and a fourth for Johansson and Eller. I'm going to have to say no to that, unfortunately. Johansson's not a bad option, though. Kari Lettinen and a fourth for a third and a fourth. No, thank you. I should have taken goalies off of the trading block, so I didn't have to sit here and deal with offers, but it's fine. Holy... So Chicago's first, a fourth, and Kempney in exchange for 2 second-round picks and Ryan Pulock. How is Chicago? Now, this is their first-round pick next year. They are terrible this year. So I'll be giving up 2 second-round picks this year and Ryan Pulock for their first-rounder next year. Now, the risk in that is obviously... Are they going to be that bad next year? Do I want to risk 2 second-round picks this season for a chance at a really, really high first-round pick next year? And to be honest, that second-year draft is a little bit inconsistent. The top 5 is good, but that could be a top 5 pick. Damn, that's tough. That is tough. Tampa and Edmonton's second rounder and Ryan Pulock. We would have to give up a defenseman that has some potential. Is there somebody interchangeable with Pulock that could make this trade a little bit more interesting for me? Just Crosby, Boyer. You know what? I'm going to hold off. I might come to regret that. Hopefully you guys can remember where Chicago's first-round pick ends up being. I'm going to turn down that offer again for Johansson or Johansson. Johansson. I don't know. I don't care. Hopefully you guys can remember to track that Chicago pick and let me know whether or not I just made the right decision or not by turning down that trade offer. And again, we're only getting offers for our big-name players right now. Nothing for the likes of Letestu or anybody else. Sanheim and a fourth for Brodin. Absolutely not. And we'll sim the 1 extra day just to see if we get an offer. And again, it's for Brodin. We will decline that. I think we're good to go. Like I said, I could sit here and probably get a couple more 4th and 5th round picks for the like of Letestu, McGinn, Como, and Roussel. But with the amount of picks we already have at the top of the draft, I'm not all that concerned. I mean, they are UFAs. McGinn isn't. The others are. I don't know, man. Maybe I should. Maybe I should try to flip them really quickly. Even if I do it for picks next year. And I don't even know if I could flip Hartnell in time. I might get in trouble for flipping him too soon, but we could do it at the draft. You know what? Here. Well, let's go for it. Let's see if we can move them out. And then that will open up space for me to be able to sign some of those Finnish players that are in the AHL for us right now. So you know what? We might as well go for it. I won't go for picks this year. We'll go for picks next year. You know what? I'm even going to try to flip Reinprecht. I'm even going to try to flip somebody like a Reinprecht to see if this works. So we need the 2019 draft. They got a 6th rounder. Will that go through? That's hilarious. That shouldn't happen. I should not be able to flip someone like a Steven Reinprecht, who just isn't good for a 6th round pick. I honestly didn't think that was going to go through, but we'll still look to take advantage of it. Conacher, Axelson, Jones as well. We'll see if we can send them all to Anaheim. I mean, this is a little bit cheap, but I'm all right with it, to be honest, because it'll help me clear out the AHL. Can I get a 5th rounder for all of them? Yes, I can. Again, I could have gotten more for them. I'm not all that concerned, really, about getting more for those players. It's fine. I just need to get rid of them. So, as far as like, oh, you could have probably gotten like a 3rd for that. Now, I don't care. I just need to get rid of them. We'll keep Eric Fair. It's probably too early to flip him. Holloway we can get rid of. Actually, who the hell did I just give up to Anaheim in total? It was Jones, Axelson, and Conacher. Okay, so wow, Anaheim. Sorry for fleecing you a little bit there. It is a little bit upsetting to see, not upsetting, but disappointing to see that the AI is still a little bit susceptible to a trade like that. Let's see if we can give up Jamie McGinn and Bud Holloway in the same deal. Can we send them to Arizona? Arizona has gone after Bud Holloway a couple of times this season. So let's see, it would be a 4th and how about a 4th and a 5th? 4th and a 5th next year for those two. I'm good with that. They are not. How about just how about a 4th and a 6th? A 4th and a 6th next year for Jamie McGinn and Bud Holloway? Still no. Wow. All right, Jamie McGinn, not as much value as I would have thought. 4th and a 7th next year for these two? Just a bit low. Okay, so is there anybody else I can add to this? I don't think there is. So we'll just go straight up for a 4th. All right, Jamie McGinn is gone. Hey, we got a 4th round pick out of it. It is what it is. It's not a great deal for us, but again, we clear out some contract spots. And is there anybody else now that I'd like to get rid of? There was Roussel. Mark Streit has $7 million on his contract. He's not going anywhere. You got Como, Letestu, Hartnell has to stay. So we got those 3. So I think as long as we can find the one place that we can actually move all of them to, Dallas looks perfect. Dallas looks perfect. They're a good team too. So it's like, hey, here's a bunch of cheap depth that I'm not even going to look to get a lot back for. Although, honestly, nope, you know what? Trades are perfect. I don't even need another player. I just need those free contract spots to help clear out the AHL. They have 1 pick in this upcoming draft as it is. So they're going for it. How about your 3rd round pick next year and a 5th for Roussel, Letestu, and Blake Como? No. How about just a 3rd? All right, so here's the deal. Like, they don't want any of these players, and I'm cool with that. I don't need to get a big return. Now, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. Like, this is going to go through. Could I have gotten more earlier in the season for Roussel, Como, and Letestu? Yes, I could have. I can admit that I should have traded them earlier. But for now, we'll just take whatever we can get. It's fine. I'll sign a bunch of those players that are in the are currently stuck on the AHL team, and we'll move forward. So Sprong, Lear, and DeBrusk. We'll call up all 3 of them. And again, the AHL is a bit of a mess right now, but that's okay, because we are going to fix it heading into next season. So let's go best lines. 4th line will be Fair, Gounce, and to be honest, I got to play Hartnell on the 3rd line just to keep him happy. So Fair, Lear, and Gounce, maybe? I could go with DeBrusk, but I'd rather play him with players who could actually do a job for us, really. Let's go with Gounce. 3rd line, we'll have Hartnell. Who else can play center? Lawton can play center. So we'll have Hartnell, Lawton, and Connor Brown. Third line will be Tierney, Sprong, DeBrusk, and then top line of Dadonov, Burakovsky, and Nolan Patrick. And on defense, again, we are pretty much good to go. And then the hope is, too, that we'll get some waiver claims towards the end of the season. Let's go with... What do we want to go with here? Let's go with Kulak and Carlson. I'll put Kulak on that side, and there we go. There we go. I think we're good. Now, the only thing I have to do from here is take down some of these AHL names that I don't want on the team. Masiello is not... No, he is ours. He is on contract us. But Janicki, whatever the hell your name is, you are not. So we'll write down your name as the goaltender that we have to sign so that we can inevitably get rid of you. Lear as well. Damn it. That sucks having to try and sign two goaltenders. I honestly don't think I can sign both unless I get rid of Masiello. So I'm going to have to trade Masiello here to be able to sign both of them. Again, this is a pain in the ass, but this is what happens when you do a fantasy draft or an expansion draft. Your AHL team just gets filled up with these terrible players that you can only get rid of. And again, the reason why I want to get rid of them is so that whenever I do best lines in future seasons, it doesn't put them into the lineup. So let's see here. We have on defense, Manavian. I'm going to go with that. And we have Patrick Eklund. Right, again, writing down those names. Oh, we have one more. Mirko Sacher. Sacher? Don't know. Who cares? It's fine. He's German. Right wings. Are there any scratched players? We do have the center. Here, just let me try to keep track here really quick. So for centers, we have Carl Persson. Again, here's the thing, right? This part of the video, could I edit this down? Absolutely. But I know some of you like to see the full process. So I'm going to tell you straight up from here, skip a couple minutes into the video if you don't care about roster management. We're going to sim to the end of the season and call it an episode from there. But like I said, I know some people do like to see the full process of how I manage these teams. And this part of the video is for people like you guys. For those who don't care, hey, I get it. I understand. It might not be the most exciting thing in the world, but it is a massive part of the mode, roster management. That's kind of the name of the game. So, it is what it is. But I will say, if I still have your attention, again, I do thank you very much for watching. I'll thank you at the end of the video as well. But the support so far on the two starting series, I was a little bit worried starting off with NHL 18 because, towards the end of 17, obviously, we lost a little bit of momentum on the channel, which is to be expected, really. I mean, obviously that's going to happen as NHL 17 starts to die out. Although for the most part, I mean, like the Manhattan Project and everything still did really well. Rebuilding Hockeytown still did really well. All right, so we're good. We got that team set up. I have 10 roster spots, so I can't sign everybody, although I can trade Masiello really quick. But yeah, point being, thank you guys for the support with this series so far. Let's go trade Masiello, who really isn't worth a whole hell of a lot. We'll see Washington. Yes. All right, we can trade him to the Caps. How about for, say, a 4th round pick next year? Nope. All right, we'll try for the 5th round pick next year. There we go. Masiello is gone. So we have 11 spots. 11 spots. Right. All right, so free agents. Again, this is the last day I can send offers. So we're still looking all right. Let's take a look here. Goalies. Again, we need Lear. It's Lehr. Lehr and Janicki. Those are the two that we need. Janicki will be up first. 43 overall. That is I mean, hey, at least you're in the game, right? At least you're in the game. That's more than I can say. You are in the NHL game, so you're good. And then also 47 overall for Philip Lur. I'm going to go with Lur, but we'll sign those two up. Defense, again, it's Eklund, Manavian, or whatever the hell it was, and Sacher. So we'll sign these guys. And like I said, this is just so that next season in the AHL, we have just all players of mine, all prospects. I can go best lines and be all right with it. And not have to worry about the game putting in players that I don't want. Eklund, P. Eklund. Sign him up. Again, Manavian is up next. Like I said, might not be the most exciting thing to watch. And even as I'm talking right now, I'm like, I should totally just edit this down. But, again, for some people, it's just, I don't know. You guys enjoy it. It's the vocal minority, for the most part, as far as, edit down the videos. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I have to sneeze. I gotta sneeze. Hold on. Oh, God, that was awful. Talking about editing down videos, that is the perfect example as to why. Definitely could. But damn it, at this point now, I'm stubborn. No, dude, I didn't even notice his beard. Holy shit. See, that's why you don't sim ahead, because then you get moments like this where it's like, bravo, dude. God damn, that's at least a 9 out of 10 for, like on the beard scale. Like is that a 10 out of 10 beard? What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments below. How awesome is that guy's beard? Oh, it's my boy. I didn't know he was still in the game. Theo Peckham is still in the game. That's awesome. Oh, I should I'm signing him. I am signing him. I didn't realize he was still in the game. That's sick. All right. Well, I shouldn't have done that as far as team management goes, but you know what? Screw it. AHL captain, Theo Peckham. I might play him on the NHL roster here. We need Sacher, German dude. Oh, Chris Rumble's there too. All right, you know what? It's fine. Nope, it's fine. We're signing Chris Rumble too. To be honest, I might have missed somebody that we actually needed, or I might have missed somebody else like that. Like a Rumble or a Theo Peckham. But it's fine. At the very least, I want to sign those two. And like I said, that really kind of screwed me over. I'll have to do a bit more. I didn't mean to back out. I'll have to do a little bit more roster management heading into next season than I wanted to, because I just sent out those offers. But it's fine. It's fine. Dude, it's Theo Peckham and Chris Rumble. You have to sign them. Let's see. We need Brome. Hey, bonus. How you doing? Chris Bork is there. This is Ryan Bork. But we need Brome. All right, we'll sign him up. Nice hair, dude. Good Lord. Olsen and Short. Right. All right. I really can't afford to sign any other, like, oh my God, it's that guy type of players. We signed our two. We signed Chris Rumble and Theo Peckham. We're good. All right, so Olsen, whatever the hell his name is. I can't even read what the hell I wrote down. It's Olsen something or other. Let's see here. Let's see. Olsen. Sign him up for a season. We have room to sign one center. We wouldn't have had the space to sign everybody anyway. So let's go with Person. Sort from the bottom here. We'll go with Carl Person. Make him sound French. But that's okay. There he is. All right, sweet. That is the last player that we can afford to sign. That'll bring us to 50 contracts, unfortunately, so the waiver wire won't necessarily be a thing. Unfortunately, I'm going to keep saying unfortunately, because I regret my decision there. Let me see if there's anybody I can trade. I'd like to have at least one spot to be able to, have that waiver option, but also I had to get rid of some of those players. I could get rid of Marmon or Vevalainen. I don't want to do that. Defense, Trevor Carrick. I'm still going to give him a chance. Yeah, I kind of screwed myself over, but like I said, I think it's too early to trade somebody like Fair. So we'll keep the team the same. The waiver wire just won't be a thing for the rest of the season. I mean, you're going to see players like Davidson, who's decent enough, but not exactly a game changer. Long gone are the days where someone like Jeff Skinner would end up on the waiver wire. But we are good. Let's sim to the end of the year. Bud Holloway's immediately on waivers. Well, I got to decline that, at least. I suppose there is a last-second chance. Chris Rumble, Theo Peckham, and pretty much everybody else has accepted. Beautiful. Well, let's go set up the AHL team really quickly, although I don't even have space for Rumble or Peckham to play right now. So, never mind. Let's just go. They're on the team. I'll re-sign them for sure, as we just lost 8-0 in our first game after the deadline. I will probably re-sign Peckham and Rumble heading into next year. I think we could use them on the AHL squad. Let me know what you think, because obviously the smart move would be to just get rid of them and, play our actual prospects there. But for the moment, we have Theo Peckham and Chris Rumble in our team, in our franchise, on our team. Proper pronunciation, sentence structure, and all that stuff. But again, the fact that we are approaching 50 minutes or so, if you guys are still here with me, man, I appreciate it. And like I said, being a little bit under the weather today too, obviously, having to mute the mic for a minute to sneeze, stuff like that. It is nice, though, to see that the series is still doing well. Now, we're not going to sim to the very end, right? We're not going to sim to the very end because it has been a long... fuck it. You know what? No, let's do it. Let's just sim to the end of the postseason as Eric Fair breaks his hand on the last day of the season. Let's call up Olsen. Why not? And we'll go best lines for both teams. I mean, neither team is going to make the playoffs, so that's fine. Let's go... Yeah, we'll go German defense for a week. It's going to take a little bit to get to the end of this season just because of the scouting, but we know that we didn't make the playoffs at either level. We'll take a look at the season stats at the very end here. We'll take a look at the awards, and then the next episode will be the draft, all right? So, a little bit of a marathon episode as compared to what I've normally been doing with the episode time, but a lot changed about our roster. A lot changed. We made a lot of moves. We moved out a lot of players, brought in some decent prospects. And I mean, this upcoming offseason, obviously this draft is going to be huge for us, and we need to make sure that we hit on the majority of our picks. But potentially, we could do some damage in the free agent market. I'm excited to see what our team looks like for year 2. To be honest, we weren't even as bad of a team as I thought we were going to be in year 1. If we really wanted to tank, we probably should have gotten rid of players like Schultz and Shattenkirk much, much sooner than we did. But that hope of, I don't know, we were definitely tanking, but the thought of making the playoffs in year 1 sounded kind of good to me. It did. It sounded like a challenge we definitely could have succeeded with. Do I have everywhere else scouted? Yes, I do. All right, so let's go Russian forwards for 2 weeks. Scout Russian defensemen for the rest of the year. I'm excited to see, though, who wins the cup in year 1. We're either getting our answer right now or it's scouting. Eric Fair is back. We'll just go best lines. There is the scouting. We'll just go Russian defense for the rest of the way. And we'll find out who won the Stanley Cup in year 1. We'll take a look at the player stats and awards. The Dallas Stars have won the cup in year 1. The Tucson Roadrunners win the Calder Cup. But again, our regular season record, 37, 38-7, 33, 45-5 for the Connecticut Whale, which, to be honest, for the AHL team, that's a pretty damn good record because that team was garbage, especially at the beginning of the season. So we finished second last. To be honest, we weren't even that far out of the playoffs. We finished 7 points out of a playoff spot, with our roster being, we didn't have a terrible roster. Even with guys like McGinn, Letestu, and Como, we weren't terrible. Maybe we should have gone for it. I don't know. Obviously, we'll at least have a lottery pick. Winnipeg won the President's Trophy. 53 wins for the Jets. The worst team in the league was, in fact, the Chicago Blackhawks. So again, we'll see if I live to regret not getting their first-round pick for next season. If it was for this season, obviously, it wouldn't have been a question. Well, let's take a look at the player stats for our team. I mean, obviously the players to pay attention to. Dadonov with 58 points in 25 games. We will probably look to bring him back next year. It's probably going to have to be on another ridiculous contract like that, though. Just because, again, cap space is going to be difficult for us, especially now that we don't have the option to sign veterans at ridiculous prices. Connor Brown, 44 points. Very good for him. 41 points for Nolan Patrick in his rookie season. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, dealing with this right now. Just the sinus pressure is getting to me. Andre Burakovsky with 37 points. Tierney with 32. Then you had Brodin, 1 goal and 30 assists. The the opposite of Rasmus Dahlin in Rebuilding Hockeytown. That's nice. Scott Laughton, 27 points. And you can kind of see the rest. Sprong and DeBrusk didn't do too poorly in their end-of-season showcase. And in the goaltending, Korpisalo with 62 appearances, a .909 save percentage, a .916 in 28 appearances for one Malcolm Subban. And then around the league, the goaltender with the most wins was Jonathan Quick in LA. Let's take a look again. The rookie race we're not going to be able to find out, but skaters from around the league, the race went to Drew. That's a really low scoring total. Often you will see players over 100 points, but Kessel and Giroux, 91 points each, 39 goals, 52 assists for Giroux. 60 assists for the battle potato Phil Kessel. That is ridiculous. Malcolm with 90 points. You think they were a line combination? Taylor Hall with 84 points, same as Austin Matthews. A great season for Zetterberg. McDavid up there with 81 points. No real surprising names up there, I do suppose. No real surprising names. In the goal-scoring race, if this wants to sort properly, was won by Evgeny Malkin. 47 goals. Let's take a look, though, at the rest of the awards. We'll take a look at the playoff tree afterwards. But again, the Dallas Stars have won the Year 1 Cup. The Art Ross Trophy goes to Claude Giroux on tiebreaker. Could have easily gone to Phil Kessel. The Hart did go to Kessel, though, so there you go. Fair trade-off. The James Norris Trophy Defenseman of the Year goes to Erik Karlsson. Giroux wins the Lady Byng. Sebastian Aho wins the Calder. The Conn Smythe goes to Ben Bishop. The Vezina, though, to Jonathan Quick. Cam Talbot with the Jennings. The Masterton to Radko Gudas. Bergeron wins his own personal trophy. The Ted Lindsay to Phil Kessel. And the Rocket Richard to Gino Malkin. Down in the AHL, Jesse Puljujarvi put up the most points. He was also the league MVP. Chuck Kobasu scored the most goals. All right. That's probably Elias Anderson, Rookie of the Year. I would assume so. Matt Benning was the Defenseman of the Year, and Stolars was the Goaltender of the Year. Louis Domingue, the MVP of the playoff run. So what a year for Phil Kessel. Again, quick look at the playoff tree. Dallas beat New York in 6 games in the Stanley Cup Final. Right. Let's find out, as we bring this episode to a close, what the lottery order will be. That is the last big moment here. Can we get a win? Again, we just missed the playoffs. Let's find out. We have the 7th pick. None of the other first-round picks we have, though, are in the first round. So we do have a lot of first-round picks, but none of them are lottery picks aside from our own. So that will obviously raise the question of, do we look to trade up, or do we just try to build up organizational depth and just make all of those picks wherever they are, rather than trading up and getting that one great player? I mean, we do have Nolan Patrick already. And then, of course, the retired players list. We lost Mark Streit, we lost Eklund, and Sacher, which is great. I'm so glad they retired. Because, again, that just opens up a spot for us, although we would have released them at the end of the season. Backstrom and Gerber somehow still in the game, but they retire. And then for skaters, Jaromir Jagr finishes with under 2,000 points. That is unfortunate. Jerome McGinley, Mike Ribeiro, Zdeno Chara, Gianna Campbell, quite a few others, including a couple of scumbags in there, but that's okay. Guys, that will do it for this one. Our first season with the Whalers has come to an end. We missed the playoffs, as you would have expected. Perhaps we weren't as bad as you would have expected, though, or at least as bad as I expected us to be. In the next episode, we will go through the next draft, of course, and we're going to set up the trading block to really get any and all offers. And we'll see what happens as we move forward into that draft, and we'll see if we can get some interesting offers. But like I said, let me know down in the comments below what you think. I didn't mean to turn off that last one. Whoops. What you think we should do as far as potentially trading up. I'm definitely on the side of we should just go for organizational depth. Yes, we did pick up some decent progress. We made decent progress. We picked up some decent prospects like Max Jones, DeBrusk, Valimaki, and Carlson. So you could say that we should just go for, one of those elite players, a top 5 pick. Try to trade up, maybe even try to get the number 1 overall pick. You could certainly argue for that. But again, you could also argue that we need as many good players as possible and not just that one elite player. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. And as the trade block is set up, that will officially do it for this one. Guys, thank you so much for watching this episode. I'm glad we made it through it. Again, in the next episode, it is the Year 1 draft, and we'll see how much damage the Hartford Whalers can do. So until next time, guys, if you enjoyed the video, if you enjoyed the episode, you know what you have to do to support it and the channel as well. Links, of course, are in the description for Twitch and Twitter, and I think that pretty much covers it. So until next time, guys, have a good one. I'll catch you later.